Welcome back, Kentucky Sports Radio, hour number 2. I am Matt Jones here, live, now joined, happy to be joined by Katina Powell. Katina, how are you?
I'm good, Matt Jones. How are you?
I'm doing well. Are you all nervous today?
Just a little bit.
But you've done some interviews before,
yeah,
so the thing is, just act like it's just the two of us. You got nothing to worry about. All right, I want to start with this. Before we get into the specifics of all this, what has your life been like since this story broke? Are you still living in Louisville?
Yes, I am.
And that has to be like, what is that like?
Well, it's kind of a little confusing. It's not that bad. I really can't say that. You know, you get the threats, you get, the stares, you kind of get scared to kind of go in the grocery store, the normal things that
do people come up and say stuff to you?
Well, since the sanction, I haven't had a lot of people come up and say a lot of things. I've had a lot of stares, to see if is this really Katina Powell, or, I can't say that it has been as bad as I thought that it would be once they sanctioned.
Do you plan on staying in Louisville?
Sure, yes.
It's your home?
Yes.
So you're going to stay? Well,
yes.
But you haven't had, have you had anyone come up to you and like confront you in it at all?
Since the sanction, I have not had anyone
What
come
about
up.
before that?
Before that, I had a lot of UK fans come up to me and want to take pictures. I've had a lot of U of L fans just kind of look at me kind of strange. People ask me, why did I do
you get recognized a lot?
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, well, let's go back. I want to kind of go through the timeline a little bit. When was first of all, how long had you been in the business before you got situated with U of L and McGee?
Just for a little while, probably about a year or so. Not that long at all.
And how would you describe what your job was? Because I don't want to say something that would offend you. So how would I describe? If you've been called a madam, would that be a descriptive term?
I don't look at myself as a madam. I think that's a title that was put on me by Dick Caddy. Hello, Dick.
That's the author of the book.
Yeah, the author of the book. But I don't look at myself as a madam. I really view myself as a person who helped the girls who just wanted, we danced. We put on shows, we did a lot of things.
So you didn't consider those women prostitutes?
No, I never used the term prostitute. That did not come from me. I've never called anyone a prostitute.
But do you think, these were women who, by your book, would have sex with the players for money? That's prostitution, right?
Well, I didn't come into it bringing girls in as prostitutes. We came in doing shows, entertainment. They wanted
and by
dances.
Shows, you mean stripping.
Right, just entertainment for the players is what I came into it with. I never came in with prostitutes or any of that. Okay,
so let's go back to day one. How did you get situated with U of L? Was it through Andre McGee? Or explain, I know it's in the book, but explain to people the sort of timeline.
I was approached through a guy that I was friends with in a barbershop.
Is that Tink?
Yes.
Well, if you put it in the book, don't get upset. I bring it up. You had it in the book. The Tink in the barbershop. Okay.
Right. Approached me and asked me if I had some girls that were interested in doing some shows for U of L, and I was like, yes, of course. And that's how it all got started.
So then from there, you met with who?
I met with Andre.
Andre McGee?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me what that first meeting's like. What is the conversation you're having with Andre McGee at the beginning?
He said, he introduced himself, and I introduced myself as well. He was in there while we were entertaining, doing the show, and he approached me and he asked me were there any girls that, were interested in making extra money. Okay,
when you say the show, the first show is at Minority Hall?
Yes.
Who let you, how do you get into Minority Hall? How does that happen?
We were let in by a player.
So you show up, who gets you to go there? Tink?
Yes.
So Tink says go to Minority Hall?
Yes.
And then a player lets you in. Which player?
I don't want to say because once I spoke with NCAA, they said that, or Chuck Smirt, he said that it was not the player that I said. So it was a player.
So wait a minute, Chuck Smirt, you thought it was one player?
Yes.
And Chuck Smirt told you it was another player?
Right.
So Chuck Smirt then I guess knew that there were players that let you in, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I had to be let in. It was a side door. I couldn't just go in.
So you don't want to say, can you say the player Chuck Smirt said it was?
He never said.
He never said. Okay. All right. So you get let in to the dorm, and at that point you still haven't met Andre McGee.
Right.
All right. So then you get up to the dorm, and then what happens?
We get in the dorm, and they we were instructed to go into another dorm room, another room to change our clothes and to sit and wait for the party to get started. And once the party got started, Andre called us out one by one. Each girl went out, they danced, and they,
So Andre would come and tell you one by one who should come in.
Right.
Now explain to me the finances right there. Were you giving money up front?
Yes, I was giving money as soon as I walked in.
How much money were you giving?
$200 at that point.
So you're giving $200 to show up.
Right.
Do the other girls get any money at that point?
No, they strictly worked off tips.
So you get the $200.
Right.
You bring the girls, the rest get tips. Did Andre tell you where that money was coming from?
No, we didn't. We didn't go into that.
So you don't know where the money came from?
No, we didn't have that conversation.
Did you ever know where the money was coming from in any of this? Was it ever said to you, like, do you believe Andre McGee, this was his money? Like, did you know where this money was coming from?
I didn't know strictly, where the money was coming from, but I knew that Andre complained a lot about, it's a lot of money, we're dealing with a lot of money, I'm giving you a lot,
But did he make it seem like it was his money?
At times he did, until he would say things like, Coach Mike, Coach Mike. It was always Coach Mike.
Who's Coach Mike?
I have no idea who Coach Mike was.
So he would say Coach Mike what? What would he say about Coach Mike?
Coach Mike is, it was, let me get this right. I want to say the right things.
Okay.
When Andre would give me the money, from what I knew, it was coming from Andre. It was coming from him. We didn't mention a Coach Mike until a little later on into the situation. We didn't mention a Coach Mike.
Okay, but when he did mention
Andre in the beginning was making it seem as though the money was coming from him, because he was saying, he would say things to me like, I'm barely paying. I'm barely paying my rent. I can barely pay my car note. I can, this money's, it's a lot of money, that we're dealing with. He was saying those type things, and that in the beginning made me believe that maybe it was coming from just Andre.
Did you feel that as it went later on that it all came from Andre?
No, I didn't.
You didn't. So what made it change?
Because when he would come in, when he would send guys to go get money at night at 11, 12 o'clock at night from an ATM, and it came back in bands, I knew it started to kind of.
It came back in bands from, you can't get
yeah,
ATM
exactly.
bands.
That's what I was saying. Like, no, something's not right with this.
All right, so you don't know who Coach Mike is. Did he suggest to you that Coach Mike knew this was happening?
I spoke with Coach Mike.
Oh, you spoke with Coach Mike. Sorry,
yes.
That was when he was in Missouri, right?
No.
No, you spoke with Coach Mike, so you don't know who you spoke with.
No, I just know that he said.
Did you see
Coach
him
Mike.
or on
No.
the phone? So
No.
you don't know. You've never seen that.
I've never seen Coach
Mike.
Mike.
And during that conversation, what did you have
with Coach Mike?
Yeah, what was that?
He was just telling me that the type of girls that he wanted. He was inquiring that he needed white girls with, big butts and, big breasts, and girls that can squirt to the ceiling, and, just things
Let's
like
be careful.
I'm
Let's
so
be
sorry. I'm
careful.
so
I
sorry.
understand.
But yeah, those type of things.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back to the first interaction.
Okay.
The girls come in. The money that's given to the girls, that also come from U of L or from Andre McGee?
Yes.
Okay, so that came from Andre McGee. Those were not. It wasn't the players' money.
No, he always had the money. He would give it to the recruits. And
when we say recruits, is it players, recruits, or both?
Sometimes it would just be the recruits in the room, and sometimes it would be the recruits and a lot of the players.
Okay, so the first time, how many people were there?
I would say roughly 9, 10 people.
9 or 10 people. All right, so give me an example. The total amount of money at one of these parties, you're getting $200-$300,
right?
But then when you throw in the amount of money the players are spending with the girls, what do you think is the total amount of money that would change hands?
Wow. It was a lot. It was really too much to try to keep up with.
Are we talking $1,000? Are we talking $5,000? What are we talking?
For me to walk through the door was $300. Okay. He would ask some girls, if they wanted to side deal, and that would probably be $100, $120. One girl walked out with $400 in one night.
So get ballpark. If you were just to guess,
I would say a night it would probably be a little over 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, All right, so that's when it gets started. That's your first time at the dorm. Generally speaking, you went to the dorm 11 times. Am I right about that, or is it more than that?
22.
22 times you were in the dormitory. Did it always follow the same pattern as to who let you in?
Well, yeah, it would. After a while, Andre always let us in. After the first 2 or 3 times, it was always Andre.
Always Andre.
Yeah, because it was never a side door anymore. We went straight to the back of, well, I call it the back of Minority Hall. We would go there, and he would come out. We would get out of our cars. He would, let us in. We walked past security, and
was security sitting there?
yes.
So security would see you all come in.
Yes.
Would you all, and I don't know how to describe this, but would you all be dressed when you came through the door provocatively?
Well, a few times we did, and Andre was like, no. You
can't do that.
Can't do that.
Okay.
So then it was times that we would be fully dressed, and he would, be angry because he's like, it's getting sloppy, why you have all these clothes on. So it was getting kind of confusing. But yeah, security was there, would sit there and see us come in.
Now, when you say side deals,
Mm-hmm.
did you believe that the women that were with you had sex with recruits?
What they did when they went in other rooms, I can't say. But
you don't know. But do you
deals,
believe that happened?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, over the course of the whole time, you had, I think you said $10,000 paid to you. Is that correct?
Yes.
But that doesn't include the money that went to other women.
Right.
Right. And so you have no idea what the total expenditure would be.
No.
Now, I looked in your diary and I saw the ledger where you listed all the money that was paid.
Yes.
You did not do that contemporaneously, right? Like you did that at the end. Am I correct? Like that looks to have been done in one sitting.
Yes, and let me explain that. It was done in one setting because.
So because I think you initially said that you did it as you went.
No, when I say that I did it as I went, if you look at the top of my journals, you'll see the amount of what was paid.
So you're saying you did it in the journal.
I went back because I wanted to count up how many times I've done it and how much was paid. And that's how I did it. Then I sat down one day and I went back in all my journals and I counted up how many times I did it and how much I was paid. And that's why it was written in one setting.
Okay. So that was done in 2013?
Right.
So the total years you were doing this was 2010 to 2013.
No, 2014.
2010 to 2014.
Right.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, do you know if there was anyone but you that was doing these parties for U of L? Were there other people that were in your role that were doing this that you weren't a part of? Did you ever hear that?
No.
So as far as you know, it was just you.
Me. Yeah, it was just me.
And did you... well, we'll get to how it ended. All right, I want to talk players.
Okay.
You mentioned a lot of players.
Okay.
Did you yourself have a relationship with any player?
As far as a...
Did you dance? Did you have a sexual relationship? Let me ask, did you have a sexual relationship with any player?
At the first time, yes. That one time.
And who was that?
I can't...
You don't want to say?
Well,
I don't want you to say unless you know.
Well, no, I don't.
You don't want to say. Okay, but you did have a sexual relationship with one of the players. You mentioned the people that attended the parties. Mm-hmm. In your book, you mentioned Shane Bohannon.
Yes.
Montrezl Harrell.
Yes.
Russ Smith.
Yes.
Chris Smith.
Yes.
Terrence Jennings.
Yes.
George Good.
Yes.
Wayne Blackshear.
Yes.
You said Peyton Siva did not, correct?
He came to close to the last party. He was leaving, and he came in, and we were shocked because he never come to a party. You would never see Siva, and he came to that one party, and that was it.
Is there anyone that I didn't mention that was there?
Well, there were a lot of players there for me.
That was who you mentioned in the book. So there were others that you did not mention in the book?
Right. There was a lot of players that came in.
Were there any that you knew wouldn't come?
The only one I can really say that wouldn't come was Seaver because, once you see a lot of the players, you start to think that they all look the same. As far as, a lot of the white players or, I knew pretty much all the black players, and I'm not trying to be racist, but I knew all the black players, but some of the white players would just step in. They would come in and do various things and then leave back out, you know.
All right, I need to take a quick break. You can stick around with us?
Sure.
All right, we're going to take a quick